Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. My name is Constance and I'm bringing you into the kitchen this afternoon to make a really easy recipe for you. Now, I don't have very many sandwich recipes on my website, but this is one of those few. It is for steak sandwiches, and this recipe uses something that a lot of people never quite know what to do with, and that is cube steaks. So a lot of times people will see these at the grocery store and often really don't know what to do with them. This is a great recipe to make with that. I have another recipe for cube steaks that's on my website. It's a sour cream cube steak. I don't know if I've ever done a video of that recipe, but it is on my website and I'll put a link to that down below. Alright, so I am going to throw on one of my aprons and we'll get started making this dinner. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is take all of my cube steaks here and slice them into strips. Now the tricky thing about these is you want to cut against the grain, but because of the tenderizing process that these go through, it's kind of hard to see that. So if you take one of the steaks and just kind of look at it, you'll see the lines in there. You'll just want to cut across those lines, and if you're not positive about the direction of it, you can always cut diagonally and you're still going to end up going against the grain of the meat. So we're just going to cut these into strips. I'm just going to take all of these meat strips and I'm just going to set them in a bowl and set it aside for the time being. So next I'm going to cut 2 bell peppers and an onion into strips. Now you can use any color of bell pepper that you have on hand or prefer. I grabbed a couple of orangish ones today. I do these with green bell peppers, yellow, red, orange. Any bell pepper works just fine. You could also use another variety of pepper, anything that is similar to a bell pepper. I've used many different peppers from the garden for this. Lipstick peppers are a great one. They're very similar to a bell pepper. All right. So I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of butter and I'm going to toss it into my pan right here. You just want to use a nice big skillet of some sort. And we're going to turn on the stove and add our onion and pepper strips to the skillet. And we're going to let these start sauteing until they are nice and tender. All right, my onions and peppers are nice and tender, so I'm just going to pull these out into a dish. All right, now for the meat. So I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of butter into my same skillet here. And I'm going to let that get good and hot. I'm going to have kind of a medium-high heat going here, and we're going to start cooking our steak in batches, a little bit at a time. So I'm going to grab one more bowl. All right. Now, as I'm putting my strips of steak into my skillet, I'm going to sprinkle them with a little bit of my all-purpose seasoning. It's kind of my own homemade seasoning salt. We're just going to kind of spread the meat out. You don't want to crowd it, you just want to do a little bit at a time. Because we want this meat to brown up and not necessarily start stewing in its juices. All right, sprinkle with a little seasoning. And we're just going to cook these until the meat is browned. And as each pan full of meat is cooked, we'll put it in our clean bowl and do this until all of the meat is cooked. All right, all of my steak strips are finished cooking. And so now I'm going to make the sauce. This is an optional sauce, but let me tell you, it is incredibly good. I'm gonna need about 1/2 cup of finely shredded sharp cheddar cheese. All right, to my 1/2 cup of shredded cheese, I'm going to add 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of horseradish, prepared horseradish. Two tablespoons of stone ground mustard. About a teaspoon of Tabasco sauce. And a little bit of black pepper. Okay, now I'm just going to stir all of this together, and I'm combining this in a microwave safe dish. And we're just going to pop this into the microwave and cook it for about 10 seconds. Stir it, 10 more seconds, stir it, and we'll just keep doing that until everything is melted all together. Okay, my sauce is ready, the meat is cooked, and so I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to add my steak strips back into the pan. I'm going to add in another tablespoon or 2 of butter. I'm going to pour in a half a cup of Worcestershire. And we're just going to let all of this kind of come together. Let all of the steak strips get nice and heated back up, coated in this Worcestershire butter mixture, and then they will be ready for the sandwiches. All right, I've got my bun here. I'm going to use one of these pretzel buns. We're going to take some of our spread, put that all over. So I'm going to start by putting a slice of cheese on my bun here. Pile on some steak. All right. Top that with some of the sauteed onions and peppers. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, there you go, friends. That is how you make my homemade steak sandwiches with the sandwich spread. We got the grilled onions and peppers and all of that. And it is absolutely delicious. So if you would like to make this recipe, of course you can find a printable version of it on my website, cosmopolitancornbread.com, and I will put a link to it in the video description down below. Thanks for joining me here again in the Homestead Kitchen. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.